You turn to the direction, you see Kit Tibbs Martian in front of you, Darren. Lo and behold, speak of the devil.
Ooh, a handsome fellow.
He is a handsome fellow.
Okay.
I found it very ironic and interesting that you decided to have that conversation with Trissy just before this scene. Very convenient. Good job, Alex.
All part of the
Good
plan.
job. Great way to introduce a character before, he's formally introduced. Good job on that. Darren, what are you doing here?
Uh,
How can you be here? I thought you died, he says.
It's. Hold on.
I will step in. Long story, something other reality. This will be not something we can discuss just right here by the entrance to the secret base.
Yeah.
Incidentally, would you know about other, like, a way to get CSEC records so that we can figure out what the fuck is going on?
Tibbs was half listening to what I was saying, and because he's still staring at Darren, but then he shakes it off and turns towards your direction and says, "I'm sorry. Who are you?" He asks.
Since I don't know anything about myself in this universe, I'll say it's not of any great importance, other than know that I am on your side.
Crystal Chen, as he looks towards Crystal's direction. That's what I was. That's what I was trying to warn you about, Miss Sir.
She's fine.
No, Darren, she's not fine. I don't know what you're doing here, Crystal, or how you convinced this group to come down here. Does Crystal say anything to Tibbs when he's addressing her?
She looks over at Morden Solus. He is in the around, right?
Yes.
Did you not let them know who is coming?
I informed them, Morden says, I informed them that I was bringing people with me back to the base, but I did not realize who you actually were here.
So,
Okay.
high-ranking Cerberus stuff, Jen. You've been doing, well, not so great by yourself in this universe. This'll be fun. Anyway, Tips
So you say that out loud?
was your
You say that out loud? Or no?
Yeah.
Morden says, Sir, if I may, these people are not from this world. Crystal Chen included. She is not the same Crystal Chen, I assure you, from this reality.
Let me just say this to you, Master. What, Tips was your name? We've been locked away for 3 years in some godforsaken vaults, only being able to see Floating Flotilla. This is the first time we've ever lived there. This is the first time Chen has ever lived there. So whatever Chen you know, this is not the one. I can
Tibbs,
assure you of that. And yes, this sounds very confusing, and that's why I'm telling you we should not discuss this here. So let's go find a place where we can talk.
Tibbs has sort of like a not a visor, but he has like an eyepiece.
Also,
he's-
this dude here, according to you, he's dead, yet he's standing right in front of you. If that's not the case, in point proving that you should maybe listen to us, then I don't know what is.
Tibbs' little device, his eyepiece. You can see text like going through his screen on his eyepiece, and while you're talking, and when you finish, he says, "She speaks the truth. Let them in." Sir, you sure? Let them in. He says.
I was just gonna say Darren's been pretty much speechless this entire time. Is just sort of done, thing, sort of staring at Kit and at Tibbs. it's pretty apparent, like he really comprehending this.
Aya will snap her fingers in front of his face, saying, "Darren, wake up!"
And I'm not.
Yeah.
Crystal's not gonna say much. Not so much of shock, but because this is a different universe, so she's treating everything as outside of her responsibility. It's like everything is not. She doesn't want to interfere too much with the other universe. And
Okay.
she can't help it that someone else in this universe that is exactly her doing something bad.
How far away
Not
is he?
gonna react to it at all.
Are you asking me a question? Are you asking me how would
Yeah,
she
how
react?
far
to that?
away is Tibbs from Darren?
Tibbs is, I mean, like Tibbs is just a couple of yards away from you because he's basically engaging with the group. He's talking to them, so within enough distance that he can talk at a normal tone,
Yeah.
a normal volume at you guys.
And maybe it's best we move somewhere quieter.
Like what I've been saying for a while now. Lun is smart. Listen to him.
Why, thank you.
Darren,
Tibbs will tell you guys to follow him. Is Darren going to say something while you guys are following him?
we need to talk about everything.
He nods at you quietly. Definitely.
Crystal takes note of that, but doesn't say anything or question anything. Just notice that about Darren's sudden change of personality, kind of.
Yeah, this is very strange for Darren. He looks almost vulnerable, I suppose. And even when you were walking here, when people were looking at him, you could sort of see it. But now he's actually seen Tibbs. It's a very apparent shift in his demeanor.
Aya will.
On the way back,
Aya will walk up to Tibbs and just quietly ask him if he knows anything about what the Alliance is doing right now and what has happened with them.
The Alliance has been trying to keep themselves off the radar as much as possible. They are attempting to keep on President Timothy's good side, but they are trying to remain neutral as far as the Cerberus versus the rest of the races conflict is concerned. They're trying to remain as neutral as possible.
Do you know anything about their leaders, who is leading them?
Dane Anderson, cousin of the late Captain David Anderson of the Alliance military. Which should be very familiar to Aya. That name should sound very familiar to Aya.
Yeah, she will bite her teeth.
Mm-hmm.
But she won't say anything.
He will take you over to a private room, which appears to be a meeting room of sorts. And Morden will be with your group as well. The Tibbs goes over to the front chair. They're this big long table, and Tibbs will go into the head of the chair, and he sits down. And he says, "All right, so start from the beginning. You guys are from a completely different universe."
Yeah.
Yes. We're from the Repus 1.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm surprised that you guys have managed to survive this long, Tibbs says.
Yeah, it's been 3 years since we went into the vaults, as far as I've been told. I wasn't awake for a great portion of it, but that's a discussion for a different time.
You know Charles. I assume you know him in your universe, right?
Yes, I know Charles.
He basically, when the war was happening, he had a feeling it would go downhill fast. he prepared for it.
Sounds about right, he says. I would think, knowing him, that doesn't surprise me too much.
As a result thereof, we have been able to survive for 3 years. However, we ran out of supplies, or at least close to. So we left where we were hiding. I can't remember the planet's name right now. What is it called?
Altera.
Yeah.
Altera.
We left Altera to the nearby planets in the same system looking for supplies when we ran into the good doctor.
I see. So now you all are stuck here, and from what Dr. Solis is telling me, you want to come back. You want to go back to the Reapers?
Rather, we want to make sure that our people are safe.
Some of us have
Maybe move them
families,
here. Yeah.
so we can't abandon them.
We should be able to accommodate them here. I'm assuming it's a group of mixed races, not just...
Mostly Quarians.
We should be able to have room for them here, if this is where you wish to bring them.
Would that not cause complications, though? I mean, we literally walked Chen in here and someone was trying to shoot her in the face.
Yes, that's going to be a little messy, figuring out identities and such.
They will be alive at least.
Things just became very complicated, Tibs says.
And on that note...
Scratches his ear. He scratches the back of the ear, which Darren, you know he does that when he's in deep thought. Tibs does in deep thought. You actually find it kind of cute when he does that.
Yeah.
On that note, this is why we need access to CSEC and to CSEC files, because we need to know who we are in this universe.
That would be helpful.
Well, he says, that definitely sounds like it makes the most sense. Unfortunately, our top hacker ended up getting himself killed, I'm afraid.
That is a minor problem. Good thing for you that I'm here.
You are able to hack into systems?
At least with certain... No, not without certain complications, but I can do it, yes. It is not my weakness, at least. Let's say it like that.
Well, one of our terminals here should allow us to gain remote access if you believe that you can get in there without being caught. Darren, can you vouch for her?
Well, honestly, I've never seen her do much hacking, but with this stuff, yeah, it sounds like she knows what she's talking about.
Doing it from here, I admit, is going to be a little risky because they can easily trace it back to our base. He says, I've only just met you, Miss... He asks your name, Miss...
Rowlett.
I've only just met you, Miss Rowlett, so you'll have to excuse me if I can't completely take it by your word how well you are able to hack into the system without being traced. I would feel a lot more comfortable if we did it from a different location.
I agree fully, and for some reason I'm kind of pleased with my other self that you do not know who I am.
Could just be your dad.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll find out soon and then we have an idea.
What is the next steps, Dr. Solis? Tibs asks. Morden says, as I was explaining to the group, I need to continue my research and examination, reassessments on the reality collider to ensure that it is safe, so that whatever it is that we are going to do, if it involves crossing over or delivering people from other universes, we can do so at little risk as possible. How long do you think that's going to take? Days? Weeks? Depending on what other complications I discover during my tinkering. Alright. In the meantime, we can probably get into your files and figure out, I guess, what to do with you people for the time being. We also have a lot of other things that the Resistance needs to do in the meantime. So, That sounds like the right path. Good work, Dr. Solis. Of course, sir. As for the rest of you, he says, there should be some extra. There should be an extra apartment that I will be able to provide for you while I guess we wait for Dr. Solis to finish whatever he needs to do with the collider.
On that note, there is one more person of us that is not with us right now.
My sister. She's movie shopping.
Trissy is still here?
Where else would she be?
Not your universe, Trissy. His Trissy.
Yes, of course. Sorry. It's confusing.
What happened to my sister?
She ended up with with a terminal illness, I'm afraid. And she ended up passing away.
Fuck. How did... Does that mean she could have it? I mean, magically.
I guess it's possible.
Okay.
So I recommend that we have Dr. Sohan check her out as soon as possible, just in case.
Wait, Sohan?
Why, yes. Do you know her?
I knew her in another universe.
She is our medical doctor.
So she's alright in this verse. That's good.
Oh yes, very much so.
I don't know how she fared in our universe. She didn't come with me to the vault. She stayed in the Citadel, and, well...
I'm sorry.
It's just good to know that she's alright in at least one place.
Is there anything else that you guys need to say or ask before you are dismissed from the meeting?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Guess we all leave Darren to have some personal alone time. Catch up time!
RP session.
I just want to say Crystal might be feeling a little like just phantom pain coming from her scar. Just from the time that a gun was pointed at her till now, it's just faint.
Okay.
Getting worse as time goes on.
Kit will, before you guys leave, he will say, Crystal Chen. He says, you realize that just for a safety precaution, I'm going to have to ask everyone here. First of all, they need to be aware of your presence. Secondly, I'm going to have to ask them to keep a close eye on you.
She's harmless. Tibs.
I know, but I just want to be sure. Better safe than sorry. I hope you understand, he says, looking at Crystal Chen.
Perfectly. However, I do not have control over someone else's actions. I'm only responsible for my own.
As am I, he says, which is why I'm taking this precaution.
Yes, I accept.
Tibs will make an announcement on the system, the communication PA system, informing people that a woman is going to be around the premises who looks like Crystal Chen, but she is actually someone who they are currently using as a lookalike for Crystal Chen. Pay no matter to her necessarily, but do keep an eye on her, I guess, is what he's basically saying.
May I have a dossier on this person who is apparently me in this universe?
He will send you some files that you can look through, and I'll get to that after the conversation with Darren. Okay? So remind me if I don't get to it right away. Darren, you are left in the meeting room with Tibs.
Okay.
And he walks over to a cabinet and he opens up and he pulls out a bottle of something plus 2 glasses. Is this still your favorite? I hope. As he holds up a bottle of, I don't know what
I'm hoping.
Darren's favorite bottle of something would be.
I'm thinking. What was it? The Russian number 4.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yes. The Krogan wine.
He gives it a glass.
Thanks, son.
He hands it one, he swirls it around, and he takes a sip.
Darren does the same. Fuck.
Look, he says, I know that you're not really him. Well, you're him, but you're not.
Yeah.
You're not the same him. So
Trust me, I know the feeling.
yeah, kind of awkward.
It's good to see you, though.
It's good to see you too. Am I any different from the one that you know, by any chance?
Is he any different?
You tell me. He's your character. You tell me.
I'm not sure.
Do you think his personality is similar, or did you think his personality was...
Actually, yeah, his personality's pretty much how I pictured it, which is good, because I didn't really give you details on that, since I didn't think he'd be an NPC.
Surprise!
It,
Funny what you can do with alternate universes, even with
Yeah.
people in your past who have died.
so what was the last thing you said, sorry? Do I look any different?
He asks you if he seems different, not necessarily if he looks different, but just in general if he seems any different from the one that you know in your universe.
Honestly, it'd be easier if you were. You're not him, but knowing that and hearing you speak with his voice, it's gonna take some getting used to, I think.
Yeah.
What about me? Or him?
A little scruffier, he says. A little scruffier. I kind of like that, though. It looks good on you.
Thanks. Weird as it sounds, other you thought the same? I don't know.
Darren was a little more clean-shaven, I guess, because you do have some facial hair. You do have a little bit of facial hair.
Yeah.
But it suits you. You look good, he says.
It's kind of weird to be complimented. You get used to, Sorry, I don't really know how to process this, Oh, of course you do.
Darren, do you mind if I be frank with you? Like, I know we sort of just met, but we kind of didn't.
Yeah.
I'm a little in over my head. I may seem like I'm the one who calls the shots around here, but that was only a recent thing. I'm sort of overwhelmed. That that hacking specialist I was referring to.
Yeah. What about?
It was Charles.
Oh. So.
Charles was also the original leader of our group. And when we lost him, the responsibility of keeping us afloat dropped on my lap. And I'm kind of scared. It's a big shoes to fill. Charles, he always had a plan. He always was always thinking ahead. And I don't know. That man was a survivor.
Darren sort of reaches out and caresses Tibbs' cheek.
He gently takes it.
You can do it. This is what you're meant for. If there's anyone who can figure a way out of this, it's you.
I appreciate you saying that. Thanks.
I'm sorry.
But then he awkwardly pulls away. Politely, not like, how dare you, but more like okay, this is kind of getting kind of awkward.
Yeah.
He says, Charles was he pulls back and he scratches his ear, the back of his ear a bit. He left me with a whole bunch of plans. He was organized to a fault, but there's just a lot going on and so much that we need to do to, I guess, right what's going on here.
So, how did I die? How did he die? I don't know. If you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. It's just so I can understand.
You were on a special mission. You were trying to break into a Cerberus facility, and long story short, you didn't make it out. Can't help but I was angry at Charles for the longest time because he was the one who sent you on that mission to begin with, despite my protests, but
I probably did something stupid.
I was so angry at him, Darren, and now that he's gone, it just feels like such a trivial thing. Because now I'm the one that's in his position, and now I'm the one sending our people over on these dangerous missions.
Sometimes you have to do these things. It's whatever he did, whatever you do, I know as long as you still care that these are people's lives you're controlling, as long as you still remember that, then I guess that's what matters. Like, these people know what they're getting into, they know the risks they're taking, and if things don't end well, they were fighting for what they believed in. It's gotta mean something, right?
Right. Yeah. Whatever it takes. That's what Charles says. Whatever it takes for us to survive and as a group, I guess. To finish. I need to finish what he started.
Whatever I can do to help, just ask.
I appreciate that.
I know I'm not
And
your Darren and you're not my Tibs, but I'm here for you, you know? At least I'll try to be.
he gives you a crooked smile and says, "Thanks." Here's a question. Did he call you, did he have a separate name for you, and did he have a nickname for you? Because I know you call him Tibbs. I don't know if he had a nickname for you.
I don't think so. I didn't plan on him having a nickname for Darren.
That's fine.
Darren
I
actually
was
gave
just
him
curious.
a nickname to be annoying at first because I believe I've mentioned before they didn't actually have a very good relationship at first. They argued.
He might just call you DJ.
Yeah, that's fine.
He'll say, "Thanks, DJ."
No, that was what Charles called him. Yeah. So I called.
Okay.
Yeah, it's alright, man.
Meanwhile, Crystal Chen, you're looking at some of the files that he sent you, and the Crystal Chen here, there's some videos showing her speaking out in favor of speaking publicly, and I guess there's some sort of a conference, and she is a lot different from you in that she seems so confident and so direct. Like, she is a woman that demands respect and demands order. And she is not soft-spoken or at all. And she just has this charisma. It's amazing. Like, you see her and she looks exactly like you, but her demeanor is very different, and she seems to genuinely believe in her cause. And you looking through her records, and her background is very similar to yours. She ended up joining Cerberus for one reason or another. But I guess the articles are implying that she's trying to essentially follow in her father's footsteps, because her father was part of Cerberus, and she ended up, I guess, taking over where he left off, because is it? I'm sorry. Paris is your mom, and your father's name is Book. Book Chen ended
No.
up.
No, mom is June.
June, sorry, mom is June. Sorry, I got the names mixed up. So Book Chen was a very loyal Cerberus officer, and the Crystal Chen here, at least, ended up taking after him, especially shortly after he ended up getting himself killed during the Reaper conflict. He got killed sometime during the Reaper conflict.
You said a similar background. Does it?
Similar in background.
Does it skip over the medical part, like straight from?
Right.
Military?
She didn't. Yes, she similar childhood. I would say more similar childhood. She ended up not going the. She ended up not going the medical or mechanical route. Instead, she went more of the military route and embraced more of the military route. And that might be one of the reasons why her personality is the way she is. Because
Actually,
she's less of a.
That's very reminiscent of the way June would be. Like
So maybe
she would see like her mom, basically.
perhaps that could be it. That could well be a good explanation for that. So so yeah, that you're looking through the records, and it just amazes you how so different this person can be, simply because of the choices that she made differently earlier in life. Some of the choices she made differently early in life. So
Although she was kind of expecting it, since this is entirely different world.
mm-hmm.
She hasn't made up her mind about how she feels about it, other than that she's seeing her mom, and she does not know how she feels about that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Loon Phelan, you pass by what you. So that's the people down here are. There are very few humans down here. It's mostly a mixed assortment of various non-human races. Because again, this is like the resistance. These are people that are anti Cerberus. It just so happens that the people leading this group happens to be humans. And you pass by the medical wing, and you see a very familiar face as she's attending to a patient, and you clearly see Voto's back to you. I think she's tending to a sick child. We'll say a sick child. Drell. A sick child Drell.
He's kind of just gonna stand in the doorway and watch for a moment, because he knows this isn't like his Voto. But
Right.
it's still nice seeing the Voto is alright in this universe, so at the moment he's kind of just watching for a minute, I guess, not obviously very quietly, but I mean, probably easy to spot. She's just standing
Okay.
in the doorway.
She turns your direction and she says, "Yes, may I help you?"
No, sorry, I'm new here. I was just a little bit lost. This is the medical bay, right?
Oh, you're new here. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Voto.
It's nice to meet you.
As you shake her hand, she pauses for a moment and says, "You look familiar. Sound familiar too. Have we met before?"
Sort of, maybe. Not really.
So the answer is yes?
Sorry, I'm gonna kind of like, I guess it's a long story, but you wouldn't know me, but I know you. Kind of.
That's very creepy, she says as she pulls back.
This is like, oh man.
You don't know me, but I know you.
No, not in that way, I guess. I'm sorry, I'll just head that way now.
No, wait. You do look very familiar, and she looks at you very closely. Is that you, Luna?
Um,
It can't be you. You sound like her, but
Luna will kind of remove his headgear for like a short second, being like, a kind of Luna, and then puts it back on.
Your eyes. It is you, but I'm confused. The Luna that I know is... She's looking at your body up and down, and she kind of trails off, and you can kind of guess what she's trying to say.
Let's go talk over there. And points to, like, a quiet part of the room, away from the eyes of the drow child, who's probably staring.
Yeah, she will tell the Drell child really quickly that he's free to go, and she will give him essentially the equivalent of a lollipop. And the Drell child will thank the doctor, and he will leave. She will take you over to the next room and shut the door and says, "So, please explain. You look just like my niece, but your outfit is similar, but there are things on your outfit that are missing."
Kind of covers chest slightly, like,
yes, things in your outfit that are missing, yes.
Well, I don't know how much they wanted to tell you lot, but there's a group of us who have come here from a different reality.
I thought I heard Dr. Solis mentioning that in his experiments. I never thought that he would actually bring anyone. So this is an amazing coincidence. You are Luna from another galaxy, but you are not female.
Well, I am, technically, biologically speaking.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see. What did your parents think about this?
Parents? Wait. Quick question. My mother, is she alive in this universe?
Your mother? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, she is.
And... oh, okay. So... this may sound really weird. Am I biotic in this universe?
Voto says, not as far as I know.
Okay. And the me of this universe is...
Luna, this is very strange. The last I spoke to her, she was on our homeworld, Rannoch.
I see. What am I doing then? But did I...
I believe you're helping the rest of our people there rebuild our homeworld.
I see. Okay. Sorry, this is a lot to take in right now.
How do you think I feel?
It's just in my universe, my mother is dead.
Oh. I see.
And
I'm very sorry to hear that.
I'm banished as well, so
Because of what you did to yourself?
no. Well, sort of. Not quite this.
I admit, she says, I find the procedure rather odd, but I can try to keep an open mind.
It's more, well, he kind of moves like his hand and like biotically moves a random, I guess, a cup or something.
Your aunt gasps, and she says, "Ah, I think I can put two and two together."
I guess the Lunar in this universe didn't take the chip.
I suppose not.
And then we didn't put the chip in me. And the incident didn't happen.
What incident are you referring to? No such. I don't recall anything about a chip with the Luna here.
Well, in my universe, we found a distress signal of a man who sadly died due to his chip. My father wanted the chip for a resource, and I didn't want to waste it, so I fixed it and got you to help implant it.
You got me to implant the chip into your head.
Yeah.
So what happened?
When everything stirred, my mother walked in. And when I woke up, my mother was dead.
Are you saying what I think you're saying, child?
Yeah.
Oh, my dear Luna. That's awful.
And yeah.
She goes up to you and she wraps her arms around your body and she gives you a big hug.
Kind of just like clings to her slightly because
I cannot imagine what you must have been going through, how that must have felt.
it's. I did the worst thing I could ever do. I only wanted to see if it could help us, and I'm sorry.
She tries to comfort you. She tries to rubs your back and she gives you the hug and she says, "Shh, it's all right, dear child. It's all right.
I mean,
Whatever choices you made here, I hope that you can at least find peace in knowing that your mother is alive and well in this world."
yeah, I guess. At least the Lunar of this world did the right thing.
She doesn't respond when you say that. After some time, are you going to say anything else to Voto?
He'll probably, when everything's calmed down, be like, "So you're here with Sohan?"
Yes, she says, I'm helping Sohan out. She went off to get lunch.
Is she doing alright here? The Sohan of this universe stayed in the Citadel when the Reapers attacked.
Yes, she says, she's doing quite well. And we have been doing what we can to tend to any of the wounded when they come back from their missions.
That sounds exactly like what you would do in our universe as well.
Well, this is a very interesting reunion,
Yeah,
so to speak.
that's true, I guess.
So what are you doing now?
Well, we're currently stuck here until the warden can look at the thing.
That is one smart Solarian. I question, though, if he's meddling into things too much.
I suppose so. I mean, universe jumping is a really strange thing. I mean, reality jumping.
Is there anything going on with Aya while you guys are at the base, the resistance base?
Well, she will pay attention to her surroundings, to the people around her. She'll especially be on the lookout for her family,
Okay.
but not say anything. Like she will, like she will sit. She'll ponder. Like she tried to fish some information out of Tips earlier, but the answer she got was not what she had hoped with the
Okay.
Martian dude.
Okay. You guys, while you are, I guess, gathering information, Aya, you do find out that this resistance calls themselves the FOTG, or the Friends of the Galaxy, is what the resistance group is called.
Huh. Interesting.
Interesting. Not that has any significance to you, the character, but to the people at home, that might have some significance to you all. You will, Luna, you will also, when you guys are chatting with Voto, Dr. Sohan will come in. Voto, she says, do you have a guest? The female Solarian asks. Voto says, Dr. Sohan, this is my nephew, she says, turning towards you.
Nephew will do.
Nephew, she says. The Solarian looks at you warmly and she says, pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you. Are you new here, dear? I don't recall seeing you around around the base.
We only just arrived, and it's a pleasure to meet you too.
She says, the pleasure is all mine. If you are ever in need of anything, antibiotics, we keep our facility very well stocked. Tibs has been keeping tabs on that to make sure.
Thank you.
How is Tibs doing, Dr. Sohan? You seem to be relatively close to him. Well, after Charles passed away, he tries his best to be confident around the rest of the people down here, but I can tell that he's still troubled and shaken up by everything. It did happen very recently, after all.
It must be hard on him.
I think he's pushing himself a little too hard. He feels that he has very big shoes to fill, and while that may very well be the case, I have confidence that he will do a good job. Meanwhile, Kit will approach Aya. He will tell Aya, here is a extranet cafe that I recommend you do whatever hacking you need to do in CSEC in order to get your information. We have an agent who works there, and they should be able to get you onto a machine. Whatever you do, though, like I said, even if they cannot trace you there directly if you get caught, just the mere idea that someone hacked onto the CSEC computers can arouse unnecessary suspicion.
I know. Do not worry. On why I got you here, does the name Akiyama say you anything?
I don't think so, he says. Why do you ask?
It's of little importance. Just personal business.
If it's people you know, I'm assuming you can find records of them on CSEC's archives. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Alright.
Good luck.
This internet cafe, where does it lie? Is it in a place that's easy to spot, in public view?
I mean, it's in the internet cafe is in the residential district, but it's, I mean, it's not the, it's more of a hole in the wall. You know, it's not the most prestigious, I guess, of internet cafes. It's not as popular,
Good.
so it's unassuming. It's an unassuming
Good.
cafe, but it is in the residential area.
Good. So there's not necessarily a ton of guards around. Perfect.
I wouldn't think so.
All right. I will go there.
Are you going there by yourself?
Then if I go alone, then they wouldn't necessarily link it all to you down here.
If you go alone, oh, and you mean you get caught on the spot? You mean somehow?
Yeah.
That would probably be safest for them, not necessarily safest for you.
No, I can take care of myself.
I don't doubt that, he says.
If we're lucky, they will never even spot me. If they trace the hack, they won't even spot me.
If you're as good as you claim you are, then yes, ideally, that would be the case.
Let's go in. So let's get this done.
Okay, so you're gonna go off by yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody else roll a spot check, please. Okay. Darren, you are the only person who notices Aya making her way out of the base by herself.
Okay, I follow her.
Okay. Aya, you will easily notice that Darren is following
Right.
you.
Could I sneak to see if she does actually not?
Oh, you're trying to sneak?
Yes, please.
Roll a stealth, please, and Aya, roll a perception. We'll see who ends up spotting who.
Maybe I
16.
should have rolled sneak out because
Wild
I have
die.
Yep.
pretty high sneak.
90.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, Darren, you easily are able to follow Aya out of the base without
Yeah.
being caught by her.
If any of the others are around, I will grab them as well. But if they're not in the immediate vicinity, he's not going to go out and find them.
All right. Well, let's say this. I will have Crystal Chen and Lufalen roll a d6. 50% chance. The 4 or higher, you're within the vicinity. 1 through 3, you're not within the vicinity.
So,
Crystal Chen is nearby, but not Lufalen, which makes sense because Lufalen is probably still with the doctor, with Dr. Sohan.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So Darren points at Aya and continues following. If Chen wants to follow, then she will do so.
So Darren informs, essentially unverbally, informs Crystal Chen that Aya is leaving by herself out of the base. Whether or not Crystal Chen wants to do something about that is up to her.
She'll follow, but her stealth is terrible. Are you sure?
Are you gonna? Okay, so go ahead, roll a stealth. You have to beat a 7.
The stealth is dexterity?
Yes.
no, it's perception.
Apparently it's perception, because I guess
Sneak is under
knowing your
perception.
surroundings.
You know my perception.
Oh, 7.
So wouldn't I actually spot her because I rolled a 7?
You will you will spot her, but I will say you will spot her once you are outside of the base. Once
I go outside, I will start my sneak to blend in with the crowd.
Okay, so that's fine. Once you are you going to start sneaking in the video game shop or outside of the video game shop?
Outside.
Okay. Are you using the stealth
cloak?
mechanism? Yeah, the cloaking device.
No, I will just use Aya sneak.
Regular sneak. Okay, roll a sneak for that for me. 13? Okay.
Fuck that shit rolls, man. I have only +9 in sneak. Oh my god, and
It's a critical fail, unfortunately. So,
why am I so unlucky with the dice in this piece of crap?
before you get to that point, though, as you are making your way outside,
I
once
wasn't trying to use the cookie device.
Once you get out of the video game shop, you notice finally Crystal Chen following you. And it looks like she's trying to be discreet about her following you. Does Aya do something about this?
She will look her straight in the eye and step behind a person.
Okay. Crystal, what do you do when this happens? Aya clearly spots you because she looks at you straight in the eye and then she goes behind somebody.
Crystal just moves closer.
Okay, she continues following you. With a 13, I think she still will be able to keep up with you. Or with a essential critical fail, she definitely will be able to follow you. Unless you say something.